touch on signing day. It's a grind with right now bowl preparation, getting close to being time for the bowl game, time to play, and then with signing day right here, and then really the way signing days change so much with it being an early signing day, but also with transfers and those things involved. So I thought the staff, recruiting staff, everybody did a really good job of able to get the papers in. It's not even papers anymore. There's no fax anymore. So I guess get the texts and the emails and whatnot in this morning early, which really helped us be able to prepare for the game and be in our game preparations, because today being a Thursday and game week, there's a lot of things that go on between staff meetings and coordinator meetings and whatnot of putting the game plan together. So it's credit to those guys for getting that done. Right now we've got 29 guys, I think 29, right? 29 that have signed. There's probably 2 to 3 more that are out there that have announcements coming here in the next couple of hours that we're crossing our fingers and still working for. So hoping with that, and then hopefully by the end of the day have 30 north of 30 signees in the first signing day, early signing day. So I think that was good. We made of those 20 out of the 29 of them currently will be mid-year enrollees. So we've got a lot of guys coming in mid-year. That could even shoot up higher here in the coming hours or days. But then a big priority we had was making sure we attacked the state of Georgia. Over half of them are from the state of Georgia, and then really the neighboring states around. 3 guys from South Carolina, 2 from Alabama, Louisiana, Texas, and then kind of singular number from a few other states. So excited about that. Able to take our home state and really make an emphasis there and get some really good players that I think are good kids, good students, good people, but also good football players. There's a good mix of guys are developmental guys that you want to develop in your program over the course of a year or two, but also guys that we think have a chance to come in and make an immediate impact. So with that on the signing day, that's really where it is right now. Excited for those guys. So if you guys got any questions on signing day, we'll go there.
I'm going to ask you about Harpring. Obviously, legendary dad, and his versatility and kind of how you view him fitting into the picture for you guys.
Him, not his dad, right?
What?
You said he has a legendary dad. I want to see how he fits into what you're doing. Matt's done.
No, yeah.
Matt has no more eligibility left. He was, Harpring's a heck of a player, man. I mean, he makes plays both sides of the ball, special teams. We had him in camp really now for 2 years. He's somebody we've known about for a long time, obviously, with my relationship with Matt. And just really seeing him grow up and then being able to excel the way he did this year, it really just carried on what we saw in camp this summer. He'll be a tight end for us. He's a matchup guy. He matches up on linebackers. He can match up on safeties. He's 6'3", just a shade under 220 right now. You turn on his tape, you watch him play. I mean, just as a defensive player, he plays. He can play a stand-up outside backer, rush spot, defensive end type as well. But he's a guy we want on offense, and we want to be able to utilize his skill set. And I fully anticipate Luke Harpring coming in and helping us this year. Probably be a core 4 special teams guy right out the gate for us.
Chad, you spoke over the summer about building your roster from the bottom up.
Yeah.
I feel like you did that.
Yeah, that's an important part of roster building, roster management. Is you've got 85 really after the season, anywhere from 70, 75 guys, that are scholarship type guys, and that's what you want. There's always going to be attrition this day and age of college football. Attrition is something that is that's there. It's not going to go away. And then that's what you want to do. You want to build the roster from the bottom up, to be able to, improve that 50 to 70 range, that 45 to 70, 75 range. Really, that's improved the depth of your team. It's improved your special teams. It's improved the players that are, a year out or 2 years out developmentally to be as your scout team players. Very rarely is one singular player minus 1 or 2 different, specified positions going to come in and really change the game for you. But when you can really continue to improve that roster from the bottom up, I think you have a chance for building the foundation of long-term success.
Last year, Eric Singleton was sort of the surprise guy, like that you it's maybe flying under the radar? Is there a guy in this class that you look at and you think, man, we really kind of got a steal here with this kid?
I mean, I couldn't have told you that. We knew what we saw in Eric last year. To be able to sit there a year ago and predict the production that he's been able to have, you wouldn't be able to, because it's as much of a maturity thing. How are they going to act when they come in? How are they going to interact with the other players on the team? There's so much of that's involved, and you really don't know until they get in school, until they're around the team or whatnot. But I do think there's some guys that are, some really good football players at all positions that this time next year, hopefully we're having the same conversation.
More recruiting, Kelly?
You talk about your quarterbacks. Obviously, that's a position where you wanted to get at least two guys probably in terms of the bodies and all that. And just Aaron obviously is a really talented high school guy that Rams, an NFL size guy. What do you see from them?
Yeah, Graham and Aaron, both of them. I mean, we wanted to go out and get two. That puts the number on the team at 4, which is the ideal number that I have for the quarterback position. To have two guys be able to come in and learn underneath, two guys that are veterans in the program that have experience, I think is a perfect setup. They're similar in some ways and they complement each other in some ways. They're different in some ways, but yet, they complement each other on their differences in some ways. So those two guys both have unique skill sets. I mean, obviously, Philo set the all-time Georgia State high school passing record last week in the championship game. So you don't just do that and not have something to you. I mean, if I'm correct, I believe he did it in 1 year less than the previous record was set in, and he did it in 3 years as opposed to 4. So a tremendous accomplishment that was for him. And then Graham, I mean, the level of football he played, in high school, the people he's been around, the program he's been in, they do a great job out there. They have done a great job for a long, long time. He is a prototype gunslinger type guy. He's going to stand back in the pocket. He's going to make the throws. He can he can hurt you with his feet. Reminds me, he's a big in stature. He reminds me of a guy I was able to coach several years ago that went on to have some success. But he's deceptively fast. He really is. And I think that's the surprising thing about him is when he pulls the ball down. I mean, he's 6'6", and he covers so much ground. He can hurt you both ways. So I'm excited about both those guys.
Anything else signing day-wise?
Did you approach the portal this year any differently than last year?
Did I? Yeah. I mean, I think every year you're going to tweak your needs. So needs-wise, it's definitely going to be different. Every year you're looking for the needs that you're trying to have. And really a year of deep dive studies and research on how to exactly use the portal, and was able to study a lot of NFL teams and how they do use free agency, and I thought that was a very there were a lot of similarities there when you look at some of the teams that have used the draft to really build their rosters, but then supplement through free agency and have success. And some of the teams right now, I mean, whether it be the Niners, the Chiefs, the Eagles, and then one of the ones that's kind of coming now in that same mold, is Detroit. That's been able to use both of them the right way to build a long-term a model for long-term success.
God, if you want to wrap us up on signing day.
Sure. Linebacker, position where you wanted to get some more depth. You've obviously had kind of these 2 cycles of older guys kind of running through the program. Can you talk a little bit about addressing that and what you brought in that position? Yeah,
we brought guys in that really when you build your roster out, it's not like the old days where you used to be able to have this many seniors, this many juniors, this many sophomores, this many freshmen. It's hard to get to that point now. I think we were very upside down on that side of the football in a lot of ways. So there were some gaping holes that we had to address. But to go in and address all of them with immediate needs, with immediate guys that might have 1 year, I think you're just going to be in a cycle of that. So being able to spread those guys out with guys that have 1 year left, guys that have 3 years left, guys that are coming in as freshmen with 4 years, that was what we wanted to do. That's the way we modeled it from the beginning, and we were able to accomplish that.
We'll move on to the game, Coach.
Yeah.
No offense. It's like third day in a row.
But I was starting to enjoy it. I was starting to enjoy it.
Wow. Wow. Man. Make a note of that.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
So I'd like to talk about the AJC now.
There's still 2 guys in here from the agency.
I know, but not him. Not him.
We'll do a closed door session later.
No. So it's going in 3 days now down here. Just a big thanks to the Gasparilla Bowl and to Scott Glazier and all of his people and the volunteers that have allowed us to be able to come down here and experience a good bowl game. The city of Tampa, I mean, I said it the other day, but again, I just want to make sure, again, I thank these people for the job that they've done in welcoming us down here to Florida. Appreciate everything they've done for the team, for the entire organization, for the coaches, for the players, our families. I tell you, I think my daughter has had the best time the last 3 days. I mean, she's running up and down the hallways to I think they're at the zoo right now. I mean, just so many fun things that she's been able to do and experience, and in the bonds that those kids are going to create at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, of making friends that they're going to have for the rest of their lives with other coaches' kids and other people on the staff, their children. So that's been one of the coolest things to see for me, being the first bowl game that I've been to with a small child, and to see it through her eyes has been really cool. It's been awesome. I mean, she lives every day with this, and it really it makes you see that there's so much more to this experience than just the game that's being played. Right? These are lifelong experiences for so many more than just our players and just our coaches and staff. I mean, it's like a vacation for them. It is a vacation for them, and with all their friends. So they're going to remember that for the rest of their lives, and I sure am for mine, being the first one that I've had Harper at, and seeing her, how much she's enjoyed it. So just appreciate that, and I want to thank the Gasparilla Bowl for that and the experience they provided for everyone. So, but now it's time to really, start to focus in, start to shift all of our momentum towards one thing. We came down here to play in a football game, right? We've had a great experience up to this point. We'll have our end of the year team banquet tonight, and then today's a Thursday, tomorrow's Friday. So that's the way our heads are. We had Thursday practice today, which is our walkthrough. We'll have our full speed repped up practice tomorrow, and all of our focus now needs to go towards winning the football game on Friday night. Right, that's where it is. That's our goal, and there's really, when you get to bowl games, there's 2 types of teams that play. Right, there's the type of team that is playing so hard and having so much fun because they love the guys they play with and they don't want their season to end. All right, and then there's the type of team that comes out and all they're waiting for is for their season to end. All right, and we want to be the first one of those. We want to play as long as we can, as long as they'll allow us to play. All right, for our entire football team to have one last experience of playing together as a team. So we're excited for it. We're preparing hard for it. We have up until this point, and we will continue to for the next 48 hours leading up to it. So with that, I'll open for any questions.
Questions?
You've talked often about your vision for this program and where you want it to go. How does this bowl game fit into that big picture? Like, what's this game mean to the program?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you go to a bowl game, there's a reason why teams that go to bowl games continue to go to bowl games. It's extra practice. It becomes part of who you are. It's the identity of your program. There's an expectation every year to go to a bowl game. And when you're in the beginning stages of building a football team, all right, a football program that you want to build for a long time, right, the first step is to be one of those teams that has an extra opportunity to play. Because when you have an extra opportunity to play, you have an extra opportunity to practice more. So really you're adding basically an extra session of spring practice in for the future of your program, but it also allows you to send the guys that mean so much to your program, the seniors, the guys who won't be back, allows you to do one last thing for them and be able to have those guys be able to experience some success.
You obviously, you said an hour and a half away from here. How do you guys anticipate handling a crowd that's probably more likely going to be heavy towards the Knights?
Yeah, I mean, it's just another game. I mean, we're going out to play. We played in front of big crowds. We played in front of loud crowds. We played in front of 100,000 people. So, we'll be prepared.
how quickly you feel that can translate to that final game of being one of those teams that you're there to play together one last time and not just get through it. Do you feel like that team building and camaraderie was really built to really come in with one last game?
Yeah, I do. It's something that you never know. You can't predict the future. It's one of those things where it's similar really to the first game of the season, where you know your team relative to itself, right? But then relative to the competition or the opponent, you're really not sure, because you've had a 3-week window now. There's been 3 weeks in between the last time you played, so that the roll of momentum that you're on through a season really ends and has to restart. But the experiences that the guys share together, those are the things that you want to drive the team to be able to have success in a football game. And you watch games all over the place and during this time of year, and there's the ones you can see that are waiting for their season to be over or doing things within that game, whether it be a lack of discipline or a lack of focus, that you can tell they're just waiting for the season to be over, and they don't really care what happens, or they don't care what the consequences are for their actions, right? We don't want to be one of those teams. We want to be one of the teams that continues to play with the discipline that got us to the point that we're at.
I know you were on the staff last year when Georgia Tech came and played in Orlando, but to face UCF in this game as the head coach now, what are your thoughts there? Emotions, maybe? Coach O'Leary's going to do the coin toss.
Is he?
Yeah.
Is it a two-sided coin?
Maybe you can handle something.
I won't be out there. No, it's the next football game. I mean, there's no emotions within this. I mean, as a head coach, as players on the team, you're trying to eliminate emotional decisions and eliminate emotional reactions in everything you do. Right? This is the next game on our schedule. All right, this is the next opponent on our schedule. Do I have a history at that school? Did I spend 11, 12 great years of my life there? Yeah, I did. I mean, and I met my wife there. So, I mean, you're talking about a big part of my life that was spent in Orlando, but that's a long time ago. Where I've coached before in the past has zero implications or impact on this football game. Right? There's a lot of coaches on this staff and a lot of support people or administration on our staff that have been to a lot of schools. Right? That has zero impact on this game on Friday night. Right? The only thing that matters in this game on Friday night are how these two teams line up and they prepare throughout the week, how they line up on Friday night, and how they go out and they execute their assignments they're supposed to, and they play with discipline within it, and they play with toughness that you have to win a football game.
What have you seen from the two seniors on the team with Dante Smith and Jamal Haynes, just who have full experience? Have you seen them step up leadership-wise or anything different from being able to react?
Jamal has not.
Jalen, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So they're the two sixth-year seniors. Yeah. So, they were true freshmen. They went to – where'd they go, Simon? Detroit as true freshmen. So, in a kind of roller coaster of a year, I would imagine. I don't know. I wasn't here. I know this. I was just with Tay up in my office, and he's floating around like he's on clouds right now because he's so happy. He said this has been the best experience that he's had. I talked to Jay King last night after me and my family had dinner, and he's the same way. And I just told those guys, I said, embrace it, man. Soak up everything you can possibly soak up about this. Enjoy every moment. Don't rush through it. Don't be bigger than the moment. I mean, and that's what they are. I mean, me and Tay were talking about our bracelets that my daughter made us. So a little special bond that we have there. But now I guess a lot of other players on the team are asking for them. So, but no, those guys are handling it the way you're supposed to handle it. I mean, you watch them at practice, the way they're practicing, the way they're affecting others, and people in this team look at them. They look to those guys. And there's a lot of guys that came in with those two as freshmen that played a lot of football here and didn't have an opportunity to go to a bowl game. A lot of them. So they're playing for a lot more than just themselves.
What do you remember about your last game, and is that something you talked to the seniors about, like trying to embrace? I can't remember what your last game was.
What I remember being up 14-0 in the old Georgia Dome in the Peach Bowl versus LSU, Nick's first year there. Right, I remember everything from the dinner we had together with the other team. I remember the play down the goal line where the guy ran through the A-gap. The linebacker, I think it was Brady James, blitzed through the A-gap, and George Godsey tore his ACL in the play, to a long touchdown being called back in the first quarter, to scoring to go up. They made a quarterback change in the second half, put Rohan Davey in the game, ended up losing the football game. So, yeah, I remember every bit of it, every single bit of it. All right, and I remember the game being over, and I didn't want to take my pads off either because it was over. You remember these things, all right? You remember everything about them. And I told this team there's 3 types of enjoyment that we're going to have down here. Number 1 is the enjoyment of the bowl game and being able to be with each other and have fun. Number 2 is the time that we're out preparing to go compete. And the third one, we've got to earn. Right? We've got to earn the third right to have fun, and that's when the game is over and it's time to celebrate. Right? We want to be the ones out there that are able to hold a trophy, not the ones that are sitting there watching the other team do it. Right? Because you want to have a bad feeling, right? Have that be your last football game. That don't feel good. That sucks. Right? And I do not want these guys to experience that.
Just curious, to this point, where have you seen Haynes King grow the most just throughout the season to getting to here?
Yeah, I mean, gosh, we got another hour in here. We could talk about that. And really, it's not the growth in the season. It's the growth from really this time last year or when he enrolled, in January. The growth he's had, the development at the position, the fundamental development at the position from a technique and skills standpoint, his leadership, his confidence in himself. He's always been a confident kid, but just the way he moves about the team, from one side of the ball to the other side of the ball, and commands the respect of everyone. Then his growth as a player on the field, being able to have adversity, and that's the thing that's so hard at that position is everyone's looking at him. Everyone knows when he does well, knows when he doesn't do well, and you've got to be able to put those bad plays behind you and move on. All right, you can't let it affect who you are as a player. And when he's had some games where he might have thrown a pick, some picks in a game, but let's be real now. A lot of the throws he's made this year, all right, those took big courage to do, and he's throwing that ball into tight windows, taking some very calculated risks in the way he plays the game. All right, well, it's allowed us to have success, but what else it does, the confidence in the rest of the team has around him, it goes through the roof, right? Because they know that he's going to go out there and he wants the ball in his hand. There's been games as the season has gone on where he's put the ball in his hand running the football, right? So I think his ability to run the ball, we've always knew that he was fast, right, and that he could straight line run, but the things he's been able to do with the ball in his hand in some of the design quarterback runs and take off, and the way he can read the option plays, it's been a tremendous amount of growth. But probably the thing I'm most proud of him, he's grown as a young man. I mean, he's I don't know the right politically correct words to say, but he's a cool dude to hang around. I mean, he's fun to hang around. People enjoy being around the guy, and that's what you want out of your quarterback. He's not somebody who's standoffish and going to sit back and I'm getting all the praise, or oh, woe is me. He's fun to be around. He's a cool kid.
Time for a couple more for Coach. We'll bring in Coach Sherrill.
Just what do you expect to see from the UCF's offense and their quarterback play?
Probably run it and throw it. I'm kidding. No, they're dynamic. Want to lie? It's truthful. They're driven by their quarterback, similar to us. Quarterback-driven offense. It goes through him with his ability on some of the quarterback-designed runs, ability to scramble and make people miss when a play breaks down in the passing game. They're going to run the ball. There's no secret there. They're a run-first team, and it's not traditional runs. I mean, it's perimeter runs. There's these 189 snaps of jet motion they've run this year that get to break up your eyes and get the eye discipline of the second and third level players out of place. So we've got to play discipline on the defensive side of the ball to be able to slow those guys down. They're going to get their explosive plays. I mean, they're an explosive offense. They've got 2 very explosive receivers. They can win one-on-ones. They can make people miss in open space as well. They got strong hands. They 50-50 balls they come down with. So it'll be a big challenge for us. Excited.
Also, if you are wrapping this up.
Do you get a little bit, I don't know, maybe emotional thinking about this? Could be the last time that you coached some of these guys that you've been with through it, and have you thought about maybe even just kind of the final message you want to talk to them before the game?
Same message as always, right? Like I said, you got to take emotions out of it. Now after the game, you're darn right I'll get emotional, right? But leading up to football games, you've got to take emotion and turn it into energy. Emotional times have to become energetic times, and that's what I challenge our players to do. When you become emotional, you make bad decisions, right? Or you don't make decisions, and that's what we can't have happen, especially in a bowl game. It's like I talked about, two types of teams that play in games. Teams want to make emotional decisions in games. It usually does not have a good outcome, right? Something bad is going to happen that's going to affect the rest of your team, right? So we want to take emotions out of the game, right? And it's hard to do because this is the most emotional sport that there is, right? But every day we work and train our minds, and our mindset is to take the emotional part out, is to change that emotion into energy. But after the game, we'll save it for them.
Awesome. Thank
All
you,
right,
Coach.
thanks, guys. Go Jackets.